Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're going to be taking a deep dive into some pretty cutting-edge tech today.
Yeah,
Stuff that almost sounds like it's straight out of science fiction.
right.
Blockchain, deepfakes, AI, it's all happening right now.
It really is an incredible time to be alive, isn't it? The speed of these innovations, it's just mind-boggling.
I know, it's like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
We're going to break down some of this tech for you today, and I think a
Yeah.
good place to start this deep dive is a question that's becoming more and more relevant these days. Can we actually trust what we see and hear online anymore?
Well, that's a question that, is at the heart of so many challenges that we're facing in the digital age.
Yeah,
Think about deepfakes, for example.
right.
These hyper-realistic fake videos. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone can be made to appear to say or do just about anything.
It's unsettling.
It's incredibly unsettling.
Yeah, it makes you wonder
Yeah.
if seeing is even believing anymore. But we dug up this really interesting startup called OpenOrigins, and they're using blockchain to tackle this head on.
I think what's really clever about OpenOrigins is they're not just trying to, constantly chase down the latest deepfakes and try to detect them.
Right.
They're taking a totally different approach.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're saying, forget about chasing the fakes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just focus on proving what's real.
Exactly.
So they're creating a system that can actually verify the authenticity of digital content.
Yeah.
Photos, videos, all of that,
Anything you can think of.
by proving that it was actually made by a human.
That's the key.
Yeah, and that's what's so clever about it.
I mean, right now, the way we're approaching deepfakes is kind of like an arms race.
Totally.
You come up with a tool to detect them, and somebody else uses that same technology to just create even more convincing fakes.
Right.
OpenOrigins just bypasses that whole problem.
And they're already making some pretty big moves. They've partnered with ITN, which is a leading UK media production company, to actually verify their news footage.
Interesting.
And they're already expanding globally into India, the US.
It's like building this global network of trust.
Totally. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. Imagine if you could look at a piece of news footage or even a social media post,
Yeah.
and you could know for sure that it's real, that it hasn't been tampered with.
That's powerful, yeah.
And it's not just for media.
Right.
I mean, anything where digital authenticity matters,
Oh, absolutely.
like insurance claims, online dating profiles,
Oh, especially that.
e-commerce, anything.
Anywhere where trust is paramount, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes you think, where would you feel the most reassured,
That's a good question.
knowing that what you're seeing digitally is genuine?
Yeah.
But, all right, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
We've talked about verifying media, but get this. Blockchain could potentially be a really valuable tool for national security.
Interesting.
That's according to this report that we found. And it's not in the way that you might think.
I think a lot of people, when they think about blockchain, they immediately associate it with like the dark web or criminal activity.
For sure.
But this report actually makes a really compelling argument for how blockchain can be used to actually strengthen national security.
By promoting transparency and accountability.
Exactly. And, it argues that the U.S. really needs to be proactive in creating a regulatory framework that allows blockchain to really thrive.
Right.
And that doing so would actually benefit national security in a number of ways.
Like, for example, combating adversarial influence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make it so much harder for malicious actors to hide in the shadows because of the inherent transparency of blockchain technology.
Right.
You can't really hide illicit activities very easily when everything is out in the open.
Makes sense.
And it's not just that.
Yeah.
It could also be used to monitor trade more effectively.
Ensure that goods are flowing legally and ethically.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
It can even be used to enforce sanctions with much more precision.
Instead of targeting entire countries, you can target specific individuals or organizations.
Right.
It's a powerful tool.
It is.
But here's the thing. We have to keep in mind that the rest of the world is rapidly adopting digital assets.
Yeah, we're at a pivotal moment.
So the U.S. can't afford to just sit back and watch.
And we need to be at the forefront of this.
Yeah, developing that clear market structure, the regulatory framework.
It's not just about embracing innovation. It's about protecting U.S. citizens and the economy as a whole.
Yeah, it's like building a digital fortress
Right.
for the 21st century.
But it's not just about defense either. It's also about creating that foundation for growth and prosperity.
Yeah, because that clear regulatory framework provides stability and predictability, which encourages investment and innovation.
Exactly. And that, in turn, strengthens the U.S.'s position on the global stage.
So it's interesting. We started by talking about combating deepfakes,
Right.
and now we're talking about bolstering national security.
And it all comes back to that underlying theme of trust and transparency.
And that's the power of blockchain, right? It can potentially revolutionize so many aspects of our lives, from how we consume media to how we govern ourselves.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot to wrap your head around, but it's an incredibly exciting time to be following these developments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, one area where I think blockchain and AI are going to make a huge impact is in the realm of personal data and digital identity.
It feels like every day we're hearing about a new data breach or identity theft. It's enough to make you paranoid to go online.
I know it's a valid concern.
Right.
The way things are set up now, our entire digital identity is pretty much built on this foundation of passwords and personal information that's just vulnerable to attack.
It's like a house of cards.
Exactly. One strong wind and the whole thing comes toppling down.
And it's not even just about those security breaches, it's about control too. We're constantly handing over all of our personal information to these third-party platforms,
Right.
often without even really understanding how it's being used.
Or even if it's actually being protected, right?
Exactly.
That's one of the things that I think is so exciting about decentralized identity systems that are built on blockchain technology.
Yeah.
It's this fundamental shift
Yeah.
in how we think about digital identity. It's about giving you back control of your own data.
So instead of relying on companies like Facebook or Google to be the gatekeepers of our identity,
Right.
we could use this decentralized system that we actually control.
It's like having your own personal data vault.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's totally encrypted and secured on the blockchain.
That sounds super secure, but I gotta ask, wouldn't that be a total nightmare to manage?
Wow.
Like all those different credentials.
Yeah, I mean, I can barely remember my passwords as it is.
Right.
But that's where the beauty of interoperability comes in. You know, global standards bodies are actually working to create these open protocols that allow these different decentralized identity systems to communicate with each other seamlessly.
So it's kind of like having a universal adapter for your digital identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can use your credentials across all these different platforms and
That's
services
so convenient.
without having to, like, jump through hoops or create multiple accounts.
Yeah, no more remembering 50 different passwords.
Exactly.
That sounds like a game changer for both individuals and businesses.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. You could apply for a loan, open a bank account, even vote online,
All in one place.
all without having to repeatedly provide sensitive personal information or fill out endless forms.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really streamlining things.
But what about adoption?
Yeah.
How do we get people to actually start using these decentralized systems?
Right. Well, that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
User experience is paramount.
Okay.
You know, it has to be intuitive and user-friendly.
Like think back to the early days of the internet.
Exactly. It wasn't until it became easy to use that it really took off.
Right.
And there's a role for governments and policymakers here, too.
Yeah.
They need to create clear guidelines and frameworks to ensure that these systems are reliable
Yeah.
and that they actually protect user privacy.
It's like laying the groundwork for a whole new digital infrastructure.
Exactly, one that's built on trust and transparency.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Decentralized identity has the potential to be just as transformative as the internet itself.
I think so, too. It's about empowering individuals, streamlining processes, and creating a more secure and equitable digital world.
So much potential.
Absolutely.
All right, let's switch gears again.
Okay.
We talked about these AI agents earlier, these autonomous systems that are making big waves in a bunch of different industries, but one that I'm really interested in is how they're being used in supply chain management.
Oh, it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, traditional supply chains, they're so complex and opaque.
Right, and there's so much room for things to go wrong.
Yeah, there are so many intermediaries and just a general lack of transparency.
One little disruption,
Exactly.
like a natural disaster or political conflict, can just send these shockwaves through the whole system.
And that's where AI agents are coming in.
Okay.
They're bringing this whole new level of intelligence and efficiency to supply chain management.
So how does that work?
Well, they can analyze massive amounts of data from a bunch of different sources,
Okay.
weather patterns, shipping routes, geopolitical events, and then they use that data to make adjustments in real time.
So they're constantly monitoring and adjusting the flow of goods and materials.
Exactly, to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's like having this super efficient coordinator overseeing the whole operation.
Makes sense. What are the benefits?
Faster delivery times,
Okay.
lower costs, reduced waste, and most importantly, increased resilience to disruptions.
That's huge.
It is.
But what about jobs? I mean, are these AI agents going to put people out of work in the supply chain industry?
That's a question that comes up a lot, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that the goal of AI agents isn't to replace human workers,
Okay.
is to augment their capabilities
Yeah.
and to free them up to focus on more strategic tasks.
So it's more about collaboration, not replacement.
Exactly. Humans and AI working together to create a more efficient and effective system.
I like that.
Think about it. Instead of spending hours poring over spreadsheets and tracking shipments,
Yeah.
supply chain managers can now focus on building relationships with suppliers,
Yep.
developing innovative strategies, and solving complex problems.
So the AI is taking care of the boring stuff and the humans are doing what humans do best.
Exactly.
The creative stuff, the problem solving.
And when you combine those two things, the results can be pretty remarkable.
Like what?
I mean, we're already seeing companies use these AI agents to optimize delivery routes, reduce transportation costs, even predict potential disruptions before they happen.
That's incredible.
It is. It's like having a crystal ball for your supply chain.
I mean, that kind of adaptability is so important these days with all the uncertainty in the world.
Absolutely. Climate change, geopolitical instability.
We need to be able to respond quickly and effectively.
Exactly. And AI agents can help companies do that.
So it's all about creating these resilient and sustainable supply chains.
Exactly. Systems that can withstand the unexpected and thrive in the face of change.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a whirlwind tour
It has.
of the cutting edge.
Yeah, we've covered so much ground.
From the potential of decentralized identity to the rise of AI agents in supply chains, it's mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive. I mean, we've gone from verifying media with blockchain to decentralized identities and AI-powered supply chains.
It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah. So many possibilities with this tech. It's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is. And, you know, we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I mean, these technologies are evolving at such a rapid pace.
It is.
It's impacting almost every single industry in some way.
That's true. It's like we're watching a technological revolution happen right before our eyes.
It really is, yeah.
You know, one thing that keeps coming up for me is this idea of convergence.
Yeah.
The way the blockchain and AI are sort of blending together to create something totally new.
It's really fascinating how they complement each other so well.
They do.
Blockchain provides that foundation of trust, the transparency, the immutability, and then AI brings in the intelligence, the automation, the data analysis capabilities.
It's like the perfect pair.
Yeah, it's a powerful combination.
And it's not just about making things better. It's about unlocking all of these new possibilities that we couldn't have even imagined before.
Exactly. And I think one of the most exciting areas where we're seeing this convergence is in the world of finance.
Yeah. Finance is ripe for disruption.
It is. I mean, blockchain is already starting to disrupt traditional financial systems.
Yeah.
But when you bring AI into the mix, it's like a whole other level.
What are we talking about?
Well, think about, you know, AI-powered trading algorithms that can analyze market data in real time.
Oh, wow.
Fraud detection systems that can spot suspicious activity.
That would be great.
Like instantly. Yeah. Even personalized financial advice.
Tailored to your needs.
Exactly. That's tailored to your specific needs and goals.
I mean, that's already happening, right?
Yeah, to some extent, but it's really just the beginning.
What else? What else is coming?
Well, we're also seeing these decentralized lending platforms popping up.
Oh, cool.
Where borrowers and lenders can connect directly without the need for like a traditional bank.
Interesting.
And prediction markets that are using blockchain and AI to create more accurate forecasts of future events.
Oh, wow. Like what kind of events?
I mean, everything from election results to economic trends.
I mean, are these predictions reliable?
It's still early days.
Yeah.
But the potential is certainly there.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It feels like we're watching the birth of a whole new financial ecosystem.
Yeah, one that's more efficient, more transparent, more accessible to everyone.
But with all of this innovation, I think it's important to acknowledge that there are potential risks as well.
Oh, absolutely.
What kind of risks?
Well, one concern is this potential for concentration of power.
Okay.
As these technologies become more integrated into our lives and more sophisticated, there's a risk that, a few powerful players could end up controlling access and influencing outcomes.
It's that classic dilemma of centralization versus decentralization.
Exactly.
We want innovation,
Right.
but we also want to make sure these systems are open, transparent, that they benefit everyone.
And that's where I think the principles of open source development and community governance become so important.
Okay.
We need to create systems that are built collaboratively
Yeah.
with input from a diverse group of people.
Right. So it's not just one company or one government calling all the shots.
Exactly. It's about democratizing access to these technologies. Yeah.
And ensuring that they're used for good.
So it's like building this digital commons.
Yeah, that's a great way to put
A
it.
shared space where everyone has a voice and a say in how things are done.
Absolutely.
It's exciting, but also kind of daunting.
Yeah.
I think education is key here, too.
Oh, absolutely. People need to understand these technologies
Yeah.
to be able to make informed decisions about how they're used.
Right. So we're not just passive bystanders in this technological revolution. We're active participants.
Exactly.
Well, I think this deep dive has really been about that, you know, exploring this transformative power of blockchain and AI,
Yeah,
acknowledging that there are definitely challenges,
of course.
but ultimately embracing those possibilities for positive change. I
Absolutely.
hope our listeners are feeling that too, a sense of excitement and empowerment.
It is an exciting time to be alive. There's so much opportunity.
For sure.
The future is being written right now,
Yeah.
and we all have a role to play in shaping it. So what are you most excited about? And what are your biggest concerns?
That's a great question for everyone to think about. What role do you want to play in shaping this digital landscape?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of blockchain and AI.
It's been a pleasure.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep imagining the possibilities.
Absolutely.